Most people have probably heard the term genie. But what about the term djinn? This speech is on the origin of the djinn, or genie as they are more commonly known. It will inform the audience of the general legend and lore surrounding the djinn, including where and when the djinn first appeared in the historical record. Today, the image that comes to most people's minds when they think of a genie is probably that of the friendly purple genie in the Disney movie Aladdin, or perhaps the blonde genie in a bottle as portrayed in the television classic I Dream of Jeannie. Today, you will become better informed of the actual history and legends surrounding the genie, which should give you a different perspective other than that of the familiar genie commonly portrayed in Western culture. Wiktionary, as well as Synonym.com, lists several various alternate forms of spelling of genie and djinn. The genie of the Western world is based from the history and literature of the Islamic tradition. This history tells of a race of supernatural beings, commonly known in the Islamic faith as the jinn. The jinn first appeared in the earliest written histories of the Islamic tradition, and were described in the Quran as a race of entities created after the angels and before mankind. The jinn were created from pure, smokeless fire, the angels from light, and mankind from clay. The jinn, unlike man, but like the angels, were created with the ability to fly at great speeds through the heavens, including even to the realm of the angels. The jinn, unlike the angels, but like man, were created with free will. The jinn can be good, evil, or indifferent. The most pious in favor of the jinn, Iblis, whose first name was Azazel, exercised this free will and rebelled against God. According to the language of the Arabs, Abalsa means to despair of the mercy of God. From it is derived the word Iblis, whose first name was Azazel. This despairing act of rebellion resulted in the loss of his name, as well as banishment for Iblis and the rest of the jinn race. He and the jinn would never again ascend past the first heaven of the physical realm, and Iblis would now forever be known as Shaitan. The Islamic tradition's description of Iblis and the jinn closely parallels that of Lucifer and the fallen angels of the Christian faith. The resemblance is easy to see not only in the similar story of rebellion and banishment, but in the name used to describe Iblis after his banishment, Shaitan, and the name used to describe Lucifer after his banishment, Satan. The jinn are said in the Big Book of Mythology by Raja Rajaharakaman, as well as many other texts, to possess certain special abilities. The Arab word jinn literally means hidden or unseen, which is appropriate as the jinn are said to have the ability to exist unseen by humans. The jinn have the ability to travel through the air at extreme speeds, faster than light even perhaps. The jinn are said to have superior intellect and vast knowledge of the workings of space and time. The jinn, although having the inherent ability to remain unseen, can manifest themselves and even communicate with humans. In the language of the Arabs, Hatmala is said to be the incomprehensible language of the jinn. Sometimes it is similar to the buzzing of flies. This same book describes in further detail some of the undertakings required to successfully communicate with a jinn, saying the jinn will not respond to the person calling them unless he becomes wild, dwells in barren and ruined places, and unless he quits the society of humans, resembles the jinn, washes himself with pure water, perfumes his body, and watches Saturn. If the person becomes thinner and lighter, if he becomes wilder and calls the jinn, then they will respond to him, that is, after his body has become a suitable temple for the jinn to enter, and after he rejoices at entering in their desolate places, and he does not refuse to be possessed. The jinn have the ability to possess the bodies of humans and other living creatures. They can also have the ability to shapeshift and take the forms of animals and different beings. The jinn have been related not only to fallen angels, but also to the phenomenon of sleep paralysis and shadow people, as well as ghosts, interdimensional beings, and even aliens. The jinn have the ability to procreate amongst themselves and reproduce. They also have the ability to procreate and reproduce with humans as well. The belief of the actual existence of the jinn is still very common in the Muslim world today. In some places, people still bring offerings to the jinn, asking the jinn for assistance in return. Believe it or not, there are even historical records of marriages between human and jinn. In conclusion, I hope that everyone is more informed on the origin of the jinn and perhaps have gained a different perspective on the jinn other than the familiar genie commonly portrayed in Western culture.